Hello everybody and welcome back to the next episode. Went back, got my other horse here just in case I ever want to start breeding them. I'll probably go back and get like, there's sheep and cows and pigs and rabbits and everything around here. I think eventually I'll probably be one of the first things I'm going to do. I'll probably put pens somehow. Maybe just like a gigantic wooden fence around everything. Or I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to be able to breed all the animals in large quantities. In case I ever need like a lot of wool for a prank or a lot of steak for food or something. But I also kind of want to have big fields, but I'm not sure about that one. I hear a zombie and I don't see a zombie. Maybe I can... Okay. Is there a spawner right here? It's going to tell me there's mobs, isn't it? There we go. So, what do I have to do? I just wanted to grab a couple of these things too to start a farm. That's gonna be really annoying, isn't it? Let's get a chest going. So I wanted to try out a new style. Oh, I meant to make 2 chests. Whoops. A new style where I was actually like record everything. And just try to keep it interesting by like telling stories about myself, just because then that way you guys can get like a better idea of who I am too, just rather than just like my sense of humor and nothing else. Kind of like how Good used to do whenever he first started, but obviously I'm not really trying to copy him, just thought it was a good idea. A good boulder fist, that is, for anybody unfamiliar with the channel. He's a great guy, very nice. Let's get the stone from over somewhere where it won't look too bad if I take it. There we go. Whoa, frame drop. So okay, that doesn't sound good. Die already, jeez. Oh, of course. Great start. Jeez, 2 attack damage. I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, in the USA, obviously. When I was a baby, my parents, well, I have 2 older sisters, and my mom and dad, at the time, we were all living, I was a baby, we were living in an apartment somewhere, I don't remember where exactly, somewhere near Baltimore City, I guess. I see so many mobs, but I don't know where they are. What? Oh, okay. Okay. Why don't you come out here and fight me? Oh, jeez, that would have been bad. So whenever I was a baby, there was 5 of us all in a tiny apartment, so my parents decided to move. And we moved to a house that was on the water, so... And then after that, we moved to another house that was on the water, so for the first, like... how long? 15, 16 years of my life? No, probably more than that. Other than the time I spent in the apartment as a baby, I grew up on the water. But I mean, I don't mind not being there anymore. I live in West Virginia now. There's not really... It's just mostly fields now. But I don't mind it at all. Let's make a sword, shall we? It was a nice experience, though. I'm glad I got to experience all that. Die already! He's gonna kill me. Damn it! I'm gonna kill that son of a bitch. He was probably so close. Okay, fuck this. Oh, good. They're ping-ponging each other, I hope. Nope. I need that food. No thanks. Let me just run away. Jeez. Oh, good, my sword. Jeez. So hard to tell a story. Where was I? He's gonna shoot at me. He has a cap on. He can come out here. So where was I? I have two older sisters. One sister is 7 years older than me. My oldest sister is, what is she? Like 12 years older than me, I think. I'm 19, so. Okay, jeez. There, one who's 7 years older than me, his name's Charlotte, and the one who's 12, I think, is her name's Steph. Is it 12? I think she's 12 years old. I was born in 96, so I grew up in the later half of the 90s, early 2000s. Great time for TV and video games, which is probably which probably has a lot to do with like my personality and stuff I do nowadays. That guy picked up my wood. I grew up playing like the N64 and the Super Nintendo and games that my sister had. I wasn't very good at them, but they were really fun to play. So like games like Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario World for the SNES. What else did we play? I played the PS1 Crash Bandicoot. What else did I play? Super Mario 64. We had a GameCube, but we had a flood at some point. We lost a lot of good games that I never really got to experience playing. I thought we had lost the GameCube too, but my sister recently told me she had it at her house, so I guess we just lost a lot of the games for it. Because I remember being real bummed out. Our house had been flooded because we lived on the water. There were 2 hurricanes there. One was much worse than the other while I was living there. And in one of them we had lost like everything we had in our garage, which is where we had the games set up. So we lost like our N64, I think our Super Nintendo was in my sister's room actually. I need a bow, buddy. Wow, stone tools suck. I am hitting him with a sword, right? Like, I don't understand. Why isn't he dying? Stone tools don't suck that much, do they? Oh, come on! I'm gonna die. I'm gonna burn to death. Oh, jeez. I know stone tools are bad and all, but they really shouldn't suck that much. Is it this update? Do I need to put it in, like, my weapon slot or something? How do you... Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I don't know what I did, but I can't use my sword anymore for some reason. How do you click with your other hand? How do you make a shield? Why does my sword suck so much? Did they nerf tools in this update or something? Jeez, that hurts. I just need to get away long enough to eat. Die! Oh, jeez. 5 attack damage. Did they just like buff every mob in the game? I mean, what the hell? Why is... Am I stupid? Am I doing something wrong? This is weird. I don't like this. Where was I? I should really go through and light that up, I guess. Probably different. So, jeez. I didn't even get like a step into the place before getting shot in the face. Hello, cute little bunny. We moved out of that little apartment building when I was still a baby, so I don't even remember it, honestly. My sister probably would. Jeez. And then we moved into another house, like I said, that was on the water for a while. I think it was from like the time I was a baby until I was like 6 or 7. I was in 2nd grade, I think, for going from like 1st into 2nd grade when we moved. So, son of a bitch. Wish I had a lava bucket right now. So I was pretty young. Oh, I should probably sleep. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, jeez. I didn't realize they were that nearby. Well, crap. I just want it to be daytime. Is that too much to ask? There we go. And then from the time I was in 2nd grade until I think about the time I could drive is when we moved the 2nd time. That's when we moved to West Virginia. Well, my dad did first. My parents actually got divorced when I was 8. And my dad eventually got remarried. There's so many mobs. Why does my sword suck so much? That's what I really want to know. Really, horse? There we go. Wait. Player collision is the thing again, isn't it? I forgot about that. The horse just reminded me by pushing me. I should make more swords, I guess. Or at least a shovel and an axe. That is not how you make an axe. I need sticks first. Where was I? You can see why I don't do this more often. So let's see. I had some friends growing up. The first house, not really. I was like going between like preschool to 2nd grade. So like everybody in that neighborhood. We lived in like a cul-de-sac. Everybody in the neighborhood was older than me. So I mean, I kind of made friends, but like not really, because we moved. But you know, there were some kids there, so that was nice. And then once we moved, the only kid in my... Jeez, that's... There must be, like... Oh, he's still there. There must be a dungeon or a really dark cave, like, right underneath it here. Screw it, I'll find it later. Once we moved, we were in Baltimore County, which is where the city is, but we were like way out in the county and on this little peninsula. So even though it was technically like right around Baltimore City, what the hell was that? I swear I saw like a heart or something. Even though it was technically in the city, I was basically raised kind of like in the countryside. My next door neighbor was 2 years older than me. His name was Josh. He was basically like my best friend for a really long time. I mean, we didn't have much in common, honestly, at all. He basically had like, I think he had ADHD or something, but I didn't realize that as a kid. I just thought he was, you know, outdoorsy. But he kept me from being like way fatter than I am, because I was always just kind of wanted to stay in and watch TV. That's what I did for fun as a kid. But he was way into outdoor stuff, and like we did a lot of stuff together. He was in Boy Scouts too, so we didn't always hang out because he was busy with that, and I wasn't. So and school. I was going to a private school. He was going to public school, so I usually had more stuff to do. Although, like I said, he was 2 years older than me. So look at that Enderman just chilling with the skeleton. Yeah, I went to private school from the time I was preschool. I was in preschool until I was in high school, and it was Catholic school too. So, and I went to an all-guys private Catholic school for high school. I had to wear a suit and tie every day. Had to get up in the morning, like even in the summertime. In the summertime, once it actually was officially summer, they'd let us just go without our suit jackets. But you know, it's still hauling around like a gigantic. Oh, let them fight it out. God, thank God. Thank you. Yeah, what's with those hearts? Those are new. Oh, finally a bow. And I can light this place up now, damn. But you know, it's still really hot in the summer, especially wearing a suit and tie and hauling around a backpack full of high schooler books. But I was lucky. I got to go to a good school. I was raised outside the city, so that was nice. Growing up, my father was actually, around the time I was a baby, my dad was, like, fired and unemployed for, like, a couple months. And then by the time I was in, like, I guess I would have been in, like, 4th grade, maybe. He was a millionaire. So he worked his way up a lot. Like, I mean, growing up, his dad paid to put him through school. Like, what am I doing? I'm not paying attention. I need more. No, I don't. I was gonna say I need more cobble, but I don't know why I thought that. I have a stack of cobble on me. I'm gonna need to make another pickaxe. My dad's father sent him to high school and college back. My dad's had me when he was pretty old. He was born in 1956, so he was going to high school a long time ago. He went to where did he go? It was a military school back when he went there. It was all guys, but I think it's co-ed now. What's it called? I'll think of it later. But yeah, he went to a military high school, so you know, I had no room for complaining about mine. What was I doing? And he didn't even have air conditioning growing up, and he had to wear like hotter clothes than I did. And then, like, the second that he moved out, basically his parents bought an air conditioner because they could afford it. Where was I? And then they his father took out loans to put my dad through school for college, and he became a CPA, or certified public accountant. That's what he did for a long time. He's still kind of, I mean, I still is CPA, but he doesn't really do so much accounting anymore. It's more like just basic financial advice, I think, as far as I'm aware. I haven't really talked to him about that much. Where was I? So he had a company, a big, some sort of big auditing company recruit him like right out of college because he had gotten a degree and then a CPA, which a CPA is really hard to get at that age. He worked his ass off for a long time. Anyway, what was I saying? So he basically he taught Charlotte and Stephanie, like, and me kind of, but I was too young at the time because, like I said, by the time I was, really old enough to like be looking up to him, for the most part, he was pretty well off. So I kind of grew up rich, but I'll talk about that later. He really taught them like the value of hard work, and and values. He got, like I said, recruited right out of college to be he did audits of companies, and the way that works is basically there'll be a company that needs to be audited because it's required by law, and they have to pay for it themselves, which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. And other companies hire accountants to go and audit their company for them, and then the company makes money by hiring the accountant because they charge the company more than they pay the accountant for doing it. So even though technically, like, if my dad went to go audit a company and it cost the company, like, say $100,000 to be audited by him, and they had to pay that by law, the company he was working for might only pay him like $10,000 for doing it. So, they make a ton of money off of it. And, he knew that, obviously, but it's a pretty good job to have right out of college. So, I mean, it didn't pay that great, but what are you going to do? Good job. He promised to pay his dad back the loans. He actually, oh, crap. He actually paid him back. I think it was like, he said it was $3,000 or $4,000 loan that his father had taken out. I must be doing something wrong, because there's no way that this is doing that little damage. They must have broken swords in this or something. He had promised to pay his dad back, and he had always wanted this boat, so it was like a $5,000 boat that my dad found and decided to buy it for his father to pay him back, and he did, because he grew up in Maryland and went out on the water to go crabbing. This is when you look for soft-shelled crabs in the water and bait traps for them, catch them, cook them, and eat them, because that's what Maryland's famous for. So we did that as kids too. Oh crap. Always kind of made me uncomfortable to just hear the crabs whenever we were cooking them, because you boil them alive to cook them, so you just hear them like struggling to get out. What does that heart mean? Why does it only appear sometimes? Do I only do damage whenever I see that heart? So anyway, he paid his loans back eventually to his father. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you all this is because it's actually a really cool story once I get to the freaking point. I'll probably have to cut this into several long episodes. Maybe I'll make them like 20-minute long episodes or something like I do with The Sims, but, I don't know. I need to get... Oh, I got some iron. I guess I'll make a sword and a pick. So, he was working for that company for a while, and he had a lot of friends that he had made from school, from like high school, and one of his friends from work had gotten fired because these two big companies were doing a merge, and they had to get rid of the head of one of the departments because they can't have two heads of the departments whenever they merge. So they decided that, well, anyway, they fired this one guy that was a friend of my father's friend's boss. So my dad's friend's boss said, hey, you can come work for us as the head of our company. And that was the position my dad's friend had. So he got fired basically because his boss wanted his friend to have his position he had. So my dad wasn't too happy about that. But anyway, whenever he left, he took a bunch of his clients with him. And that scared the company because they didn't like that. And they wanted to keep their clients. So they had asked my dad and everybody working there to sign these forms that said if they ever decided to leave the company, they weren't allowed to take their clients with them. When in main hand. How do you put it in your main hand? Is it in my main hand? Is this my main hand? How do I swing it? How do you make a shield? Is the real question. So anyway, my dad decided not to sign those papers. How do you make a shield? What would it be like? I'm probably... my dad didn't want to sign those papers, so he kind of like rallied a bunch of people together, and they agreed that they weren't going to sign them. And so the company, you know, he was saying like they can't fire all of us if none of us sign it. So they held out for a while, a few months, and this was right a few months before tax season in April. And obviously they're accountants, so that's like a huge deal for them. So they were holding out. The company was losing money. My father was kind of like the, lead guy behind all this. And eventually, come tax season April, they said if none of you sign by, a certain date, we're going to start firing people because we need accountants in tax seasons. It's really important. So one woman, I don't remember her name, she decided to sign it, and you know how that goes. If one person signs it, everybody starts following after. And so eventually it was like my dad and I think maybe one other person left who hadn't signed. And oh, jeez, where'd you come from? I can't do anything. I'm gonna die. Okay, that was lucky. I somehow managed to get past him. My dad didn't think they'd fire him, so he didn't sign the papers, and sure enough, they fired him, because he knew how much money he was making that company, and it was a lot, because, like I said, they make a ton of money off of people that do that kind of work. But they were willing to let him go. But because he didn't sign the paper, he got to take all his clients with him, so he kind of got him back. So anyway, eventually, so after that, he was actually unemployed. And with, I think at the time, 2 kids. So he was kind of in a rough situation. Anyway, this friend that had gotten fired was glad that he had stuck up for him and offered him a job, and he decided to take it, obviously, because he was kind of in desperate need of money. So I think actually this was his, I might have missed a job. I think he might have had a second job at some point that I skipped over. Maybe this wasn't his first job or something, but anyway. Oops. Oh well. It's not the point. What's with my frames right now? I'm getting really low frames. Anyway. So he had decided to work with his friend that he had stuck up for, and one of his clients at the time was Strayer University, and the president of the university offered my father a job as a financial advisor because their company hadn't been doing well. And so my dad took the offer, but I guess I didn't need to take the potatoes after all. You know, his friends over here like, well, what the hell, man? You agreed you were gonna work with me. Like, what the fuck, dude? And so my father came to an agreement with the two of them and said, all right, for 4 days out of the week, I'll work 10 hours a day for Strayer, and for the rest of the week, I'll work for you. So he was working, it was either a part-time job and a full-time job, or 2 full-time jobs for, man, how many years? Like, several years. A really long time. I don't even know, probably, at least, it would have had to have been at least, like, 6 years. Probably more, maybe even, like, double that. But anyway, it was a long time, and his commute was, 2 hours, because it was to Virginia, so it was 2 hours there, and then 2 hours back, so he was working, like, 14 hours days, technically, and for 4 days a week. And so, you know, growing up, we didn't really see him all that much. Well, my sisters didn't. Eventually, he wanted to start spending time with his kids more, so he would take me to the office with him whenever he worked on the weekends. So I got to spend some time with him as a child, but, you know, my sisters kind of, I think, I don't think they really, like, resented him or anything, but I'm sure they wished that they could have spent more time with him. Holy crap, where are these guys all coming from? Is it just from this being so dark? Oh crap, I looked at a freaking Enderman. What, how did I switched my hand. Okay, my home bed's missing or obstructed. That's really unfortunate. I don't know if I have enough food to get back to there. I didn't know we had a beacon. When did we defeat a wither? Oh, that's right. Hippo organized that event that I couldn't make. Oh well. Whoops. Whoa. I forgot there were slime blocks here. Where was I? Oh yeah, so my dad worked ridiculously hard. And so, eventually, he was the CFO, which is Chief Financial Officer for Strayer University. And he asked the president one day, he said, how much money do you think the company is worth right now? He said, I think it's worth about $10 million. And my dad said, okay, I agree with you. I think that's about right. I went, holy crap. And he said, I want to make a deal with you. He wanted a stock option. He said, I would like, we both agree it's worth $2 million, right? Or $10 million right now. I'd like to have a stock option to, at any point in time, buy 2% of the company for $2 million. Which, I mean, at the time, it's like, at the time, obviously, that was a great deal, so he accepted it, and then they decided to go public soon after that, and eventually the company was worth, I think, $100 million, and my dad made good on the bargain and became a millionaire. But, I don't remember exactly how it went down. Something similar to that. What was that? Where was I? Anyway, he was a millionaire. And then my parents got divorced, like I said, when I was 8. So I guess it would have been... Yeah, I was 8. So, where's my food? So, in Maryland, the law is basically that your wife gets to keep half of everything, kind of, but my father didn't have the liquid assets to pay the taxes and lawyers involved to give her properties, so he just had to pay her in, like, money, basically. instead of taxes and everything. So, you know, by the time he was in his late 40s, early 50s, he had been working for the past like 20 years saving up a retirement fund. It was all gone. All of it. Just all this work he had done. I mean, my mom was a nice person and all, but, you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, and part of their agreement after the divorce was that I would spend half the week with her and half the week with him. So every day for the next 10 years after that, basically. I think it was 9 years actually, but it was kind of like 10. I would spend Sunday through Thursday with my, well, I would go to my mom's on Sunday night, and then after school on Thursday, my dad would pick me up and then drop me off on Sunday night. So I'd spend basically Monday through Thursday with my mom and Friday through Sunday with my dad. And I did this, you know, going back and forth between the houses. So I grew up in 2 houses for 10 years. Just every single week I'd have to switch. So that was kind of a pain. But I think it's one of the reasons now why I can basically, I'm very adaptable to a situation. Like, I'm very relaxed, nonchalant. If something goes wrong, like with a plan, I'm just like, oh well, whoops, okay. And I don't have trouble like going to new places. Just kind of like, bring it on, I'm ready. As long as it's like got a few requirements, you know. It's like as long as there's a roof and like internet, I guess, and food. It's pretty much all you need. Hello, Mr. Cows. Yeah, I guess I can show you guys the path here. There's some really cool places along the way. Like, I was thinking about doing this place, but I like the place I found better. This is a cool place, too. This would be a great place for, like, a steampunk thing. So where was I? Yeah, so my dad... yeah, he then went to work for a new company called APUS, which is an acronym for American Public University Systems, which is an online college, which I'm going to college online now, actually, there. So, yay. But he met up with the founder of APUS back when it was first starting out as a company in the 90s, and he was running it out of his basement, the president, and he didn't have enough money to like pay his clients. You know, all his investors originally were being paid purely in stock options, and he didn't even have enough money to like pay his employees payroll. But so my dad wanted to work for this guy because he really liked the idea of an online school. He thought, you know, this is back in the 90s when the internet was just about to take off, and so he wanted to work for him, but like I said, he didn't have enough money to be paid. So they came to an agreement. My dad said, look, I want to work for you. I like your idea. I like what you're doing here. I like what you're all about. I'm going to make you an offer. For the next year, I will work for you completely free. Because like I said, he didn't have a retirement fund, but he was really well off at the time. Like, obviously he had enough to not work for, well, I mean, he worked for the year, but he just didn't get paid for a year. Anyway, so, yeah, obviously the guy, and he said, if you don't want to work with me after that year, it's fine, but, you know, I'll work for free. So, obviously the president couldn't turn down that offer, so he took it, and then about a decade later, the original investors who were paid in stock options were all millionaires, and my dad was the CFO for that company, and now he's running, like, the nursing department, I think, for their company, like, has to go to a bunch of different places now, like Chicago and stuff, to scout out the schools. So he's had a crazy working life. And at some point along the way, when he started at APUS, he met my stepmom. Now they got married, obviously. And so. Yeah, she was she came into my life whenever I was still going back and forth between my mom and dad's house. Where was let's see. So, you know, I've had an interesting life, and that's just like my dad's part of the story. I kind of grew up. I mean, I mostly grew up just, you know, watching cartoons, really. And the only time I really went outside, for the most part, were whenever I was with my next door neighbor Josh, who I said was like a really good friend. But I don't know. At the time, like I said, it was pretty much like a golden age for entertainment. And my mom was working as a teacher, and my dad was constantly working. So, but I was always really mature for my age, like personality-wise. So my parents trusted me to be home, like by myself, starting from a fairly young age. I never really did anything crazy, because whenever my parents decided to get a divorce, like I said, I was 8. Well, they decided to get a divorce when I was 7. It just took like a year for the paperwork to go through. But my sister, Charlotte, was a teenager. You know, it's just, I can't even imagine how hard it was for her. I mean, I was there, I know, like, some of the stuff that happened, but oh my gosh. You know, she's a teenage girl, like, in her teens, and her parents are getting divorced, so you can imagine how she took that. But, you know, seeing that growing up, I never wanted my relationship with them to be like that, so I was like their golden child. I had a really boring childhood because of that. I think that left a bigger impact on me than I realized at the time, but not necessarily in a bad way. And my oldest sister had already moved out of the house by then and was, you know, going to college. She actually met her now husband. They have 3 kids. In high school, like her high school boyfriend was her first boyfriend ever. In fact, was when she ended up marrying. But when I was growing up, and still now, my dad is so religious. Like, he's super religious, very Catholic person. Well, he was actually Lutheran when I was a kid, and so I went to a Catholic school from preschool until throughout high school, and well, I actually transferred schools to go to a different high school. I went to a high school called Calvert Hall. It's a really nice school. I was lucky, but he was Lutheran, so I would go to the Lutheran church because I was with him on the weekends. So I spent, man, a really long time doing that, and then eventually the Lutheran church decided to start letting gay and lesbian people become pastors, and my dad didn't believe in that and said that, you know, it went against their teachings, and it really, like, upset and angered him, so he left the church and became Catholic. So so I got confirmed. That was right around the time kids my age were getting confirmed, so I got confirmed twice. You have to go to years of schooling to be confirmed too, by the way, for those who don't know. I had to go through, you're supposed to go through 3 years of schooling to be confirmed Lutheran, but I only went through 2, because like I said, I had been going to Catholic school my whole life. And then they still made me take the year of schooling to become confirmed Catholic. So, growing up, I was kind of an asshole. Like, I was, you know, I'd talk about, like, politics and stuff, and I was just really bigoted, honestly. But now I'm much more open-minded. I had a good friend, Soapy Penguin on YouTube. We went to high school together for a couple of years. He transferred out after a couple of years, but he helped me to realize, like, it's good to keep an open mind to things, and you know, I'm grateful to him for that. So whoops. Let's see. So my sister, who moved out first, Stephanie, the oldest one, she moved out to go to college and help my grandmother, on my father's side, my dad's mom. At the time, my grandfather, my dad's father, died when I was 2 on Halloween. So, you know, sad. Never really got to know him that well, but oh well, what are you gonna do? But she moved out to go to college and stay with my grandmother and help her whenever it was around that time. Because she was getting older and, you know, she needed help with, like, getting groceries and stuff. So my sister went out to live with her, and she became a teacher for a while. Taught in Baltimore, then moved to Florida, where they adopted their first son, my nephew. And then they moved back to, well, they moved to Pennsylvania. Then they had 2 girls. They actually, like, she actually, gave birth to 2 girls. Not to say that, you know, their son's any less part of the family, but just differentiating. Oh, jeez, I'm gonna die. You know, they love them all just as much. So do I. They're all my nieces and nephews, so. And then my second oldest sister, yeah, you know, she had it kind of rough. Like I said, you know, she went through some bad stuff after their divorce. She was kind of like, you know, one of those rebellious teenagers. Never really saw eye to eye on things for a really long time. We get along fine now, though. But I need to eat. It's kind of odd how skeletons put their bow down now whenever they're not firing, but I like it. Because it tells me, like, they're not aware that I'm here. Where are all these mobs coming from? I hear so many zombies. But, you know, she got involved with, like, just some, you know, she was just rebellious. Like, she smoked, oh my gosh, she used to, well, she drove me to school when I was a kid. And she used to smoke in the car on the way to school, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I never started smoking, because, oh my gosh, that was so terrible. Especially in, like, the winter when she wouldn't roll the windows down because it was too cold. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I still hate cigarette smoke. I mean, I don't, like, comment on it if people are smoking. It doesn't really bother me as much anymore, but, like, I would never be able to smoke a cigarette after that. But yeah, she used to go out late and drink and hang out with type of boys my parents didn't want her to be around with. Like I said, they were super religious. Well, at least my dad is. My mom's religious too, but not, like, as religious. So, you know, and like I said, at the time I was kind of an asshole. So we never really got along for a really long time. And she went to, several different colleges. She's still in school, actually. Trying to figure out what she really wants to do. She wants to be a teacher right now, she thinks. But yeah, I mean, I have a really gigantic family, and I'm lucky that I've had the experiences that I have, and I realize that, and, you know, I'm just, like, grateful every day that it got to be this way, even, you know, even with all the bad stuff mixed in. I think I'm gonna try to find out where these mobs are off camera and maybe start up a farm or something. But I just wanted to do a few episodes where I, you know, talk. I haven't really accomplished hardly anything since I started the episode, but I just wanted to get a feel for, like, how these episodes would work out. Obviously, I'm gonna need to, if I want to keep doing them, need to be more productive during them. But I think that this would be a good way to start it out. Just transitioning into them, because I want to eventually have episodes where it's just me talking about stuff for, like, you know, 20 minutes at a time while I just work on, like, monotonous tasks around here, until it's eventually done. Although that probably won't be for like a year, but still.